Hi guys, so this is the second video of the multi-threading programs. So we have done the p1.java, p2.java, p3 and p4 also. So let us start writing the p5.java and we will write the code in notepad and then run it cmd. So let us start p5. So write a program in which thread sleeps for 1 second in the loop in reverse order and prints from 100 to 1 and change the name of the thread also. So let us start. Okay. So first of all, we will make the public class p5 and then write void main inside it. So public class p5. I will not create another thread from a class by using extends thread or by implementing runnable. I will just directly write thread. Let us say t5 equals to thread dot current thread, so that we will be using this current thread as in the reverse order. So public static void main string args. Okay, now first of all we will write try. So we have to close this also first. Okay, now I will write the try over here. Then let us say thread t5 thread t5 equals to thread dot current thread. T capital. So thread thread dot current thread. Current thread method of the thread class is used to obtain the current thread. So t5 dot set name, and I will name this as reverse thread. So t dot set name, and then I will write reverse thread inside that. So reverse thread. Okay, now this thread's name has been set as reverse thread. Now I have to print the thread details, and then I will print the numbers from 100 to 1. So first of all we will write system.out.println and then thread details. So thread details and then plus t5. This will be printing the name, that is reverse thread, its priority which is by default 5, and then the group from which it belongs. So it belongs to the main thread, so it will be printing main over there. So for int I equals to 100, I greater than equal to 1 and I minus minus. I have initialized the I also as 100, given the condition that it should be greater than equal to 1, and then I minus minus, so that I would be 1 at the 100th iteration, and then afterwards the for loop won't execute. So system.out.println, let us directly print the number over here, that is I only. So println and then I. Okay, and then let us say question was thread sleep for 1 second. So I will write thread dot sleep and then 1000 inside this, because 1000 here means 1 second. If it is 500, then it means 0.5 seconds. If 10,000, it means 10 seconds. Okay, so let me just write it over here. 1 second equals to 1000. Okay, now for loop is completed over here. Now I will start catch afterwards. So let me just, yeah, now I have to write catch interrupted exception. So catch interrupted exceptions, E should be capital, and then E5. Just for convenience, as we have made classes P5, so naming the exception as E5 only. So what I will write is system.out.println, and then let us directly write E5 over here. So system.out.println, and then I will write E5 inside this. So E5. We have closed the catch. We have closed the public class void main also, and then class p5s. So let us just write javac p5.java. Okay. Okay, I wrote double D at the void main. So let me just correct it out. So, okay, Control S. Let us run this. Java C. Okay. A class file was formed over here, that is p5.class in the Java programs folder. So let us run this. Okay, Java p5. And then thread details are printed like thread, reverse thread the name, file as priority, and main the thread group it belongs to. I paused the video so that the program would complete the execution. So here it is 199 and then it is printed till 1. So let me just try. Okay, now let us go to the next program, that is p6.java. So program to define multiple threads for printing text on output screen. Let me just make this smaller so that you can take screenshot or something if you want. So let us go ahead. I have written an example of the question. So we have to print like 10 times, we have to print share 15 times, and then we have to print subscribe 20 times. So I'll make a thread as p6 which will extend thread, and then I will get input as string and the number of times it should be printed, and then using override function I will write the run, and then in the for loop I will print that. So public class p6 extends thread, so thread read, and then let us just write string str and then int n, str for the message that we have to print, for example like, share, and then subscribe, and then n means we have to print like 10 times, so 10 equals to n, and then share 15 times, so n equals to 15. So let me just write this p6 string str and then int n means if both parameters are passed, then the current str has to be replaced by the str that is passed in the function or method. So this str equals to str, and then this dot n equals to n that was passed from the user. So n semicolon, and then I have to close this, so the closing bracket for the p6, and then I will use the keyword @override, which indicates that the class child method is overwriting its base class method. Let us directly write public void run, and then we will write try inside this, and then for loop which will be printing the message. So try, and then for int I equals to 0, I less than equal to, let us say, n, which was passed from the user, and then we stored it inside this dot n, and then I plus plus. Now I have to print system.out.println and then the get name, so that I would be knowing the name of the thread. So system.out.println, and then I will directly write the method get name, and should be capital, then plus, and then plus str, and then bracket close semicolon. Then I will close the for loop over here, and then we will close try, and we will write catch. So let me just close the try. Okay, now catch, and then exception e, and then I will directly write e dot print stack trace. This method will print the same message of e object and also the line number where the exception was occurred. So catch exception e, and then I will write e dot print stack trace. S and T should be capital. So e dot print stack trace method, and then semicolon. Let me just write the use of print stack trace in the comments. So this will, or we can say this method will print the same message of the e, that is exceptions object, and also the line number where the exception was occurred. So this method will print the same message of e object and also the line number where exception occurred. So writing it down, also the line number where exception occurred. So exception occurred. Let me just make this small so that you can see the whole line. Okay, of comment. Let me just close the run first. So the run bracket, let me just take that above bracket inside so that it would look good. Okay, over here. Yeah, now I will just write the public static void main afterwards. So public static void main, and then inside it we will create p6 message 1 message 2 message 3 equals to new p6, and then I will write the parameters as like comma 10 share comma 15 and subscribe comma 20, so that it will go to this run and then print the statements. So here is the comment. If you want to take a screenshot you can. So let us write the further stuff. So p6, let us make the object as p6 message 1, p6 space p6 message 1, so that we would use the method start of this p6 message 1. It would go to this run and then print the like 10 times. So p6 message 1 equals to new of p6, and then in the parameters I will write new space p6, and then I will write like in parameters. Okay, so it was 10 times above comma 10. Now I will write another one which will be printing share 15 times and then subscribe 20 times. So p6 message 2 equals to new p6 share, so capital share and then 15 over here, so that it would be printing 15 times share, and then p6 space p6 message 3 equals to new p6 subscribe 20. So equals to new p6 subscribe 20, so comma 20, the number of times it has to be printed, and then semicolon. Now we have to start these. So I will write the object name, that is p6 message 1 dot start, then I will write p6 message 2 dot start, and then p6 message 3 dot start. They would be starting thread and would be running simultaneously. So let me just start p6 message 1 dot start. I have copied the stuff now, and then I will just write p6 message 2 and p6 message 3 over there. So tab over here 3 and then above 2. The output of this program may vary from PC to PC. Okay, now because thread would be running randomly over here, so let us run this program now. I have closed the brackets, runs bracket also. Okay, now let us save this, Control S. Let us run this program now. Java C p6 dot java. So no errors. Let us run this program now. So here is the class file that has been created. Now Java and then p6. Here it is. Like was printed 10 times, share was printed 15 times, and subscribe 20 times. And thread 0 means like, thread 1 means share, and then thread 2 means subscribe. So now let us proceed to the p7.java. Wait, before going ahead, let me just show you the code of p6. So if you want to take a screenshot or copy paste the code, you can do that. So just see it through. Okay, and then we started that in the last. So here it is. Now let us proceed to the p7. We have to write a program that calculates the sum and average of an array of 1000 integers, that is generated randomly using 10 threads, and each thread calculates the sum of 100 integers. So first of all we have to write import java.util and then I'll make a class thread that implements runnable. So let me write thread first of all over here, class thread, which implements runnable. Yeah, and then we have to open the bracket. Let me just change the name as thread 7. Okay, now thread 7 and object as t7. So thread 7 space t7 semicolon. Now I have to like get some integers, that is I for the for loop, then no for the number, and then sum for the summation. Okay, and then I have to also declare an array, that is int a, and then new int that is of 100 size, let us say, because some of 100 integers are to be stored. So thread 7 and then string s and int n, a parameterized constructor. So string s comma int n. Now I will use the random method to get a random number, and then I will create a thread, and then by using for loop get the sum, and then I'll print the summation and the average afterwards. So let us go ahead. Random, that is rs equals to new random method, so brackets semicolon, and then new thread named as t. So t equals to new thread 7, and then I will give the name as this dot s, and then I will also store the number which was given in the parameters. So we will just write this dot s, then let me just write the thread name as t7. So now let us go ahead and write the next part, that is we have to initialize the number. So no equals to n, which was passed from the parameters, and then int j equals to 0, and then I will use the for loop. So for I equals to 1, I less than equal to 1000, and I plus plus 1000, because we have to get the sum and average of 1000 integers. So let us just write e of j equals to rs, that is random methods object dot next int, and then modulo 100, so that it won't exceed the number of elements as 100. So next int, then brackets is a method, and then modulo 100 semicolon, and then I will just j plus plus. Okay, now we have to close the for, and then I will start the new thread that we created, that is t7. So let me just write it down. Okay, let me shift it ahead so that it would look good. So we have to start the thread now. So t7 dot start, and then I will write a run method, and then we will write the public class p7. So let me just close this first of all, that is thread 7. So public void run, and then I will make a for loop so that it would be calculating the sum and the number would increment. So let me just copy paste from here, and then okay, so let me initialize it as 0, and then I less than equal to 100, and then sum equals to sum plus a of no. So I will directly write sum plus equals to a of no. Both the statements means the same, just that addition assignment operator looks good. So let us write that. So sum plus equals to a of no, and then no plus plus, because no has to be incremented, the index of the array. So semicolon, and then NO plus plus. So NO plus plus and then semicolon. I will close the for loop now, and then before completing the run I will just print out the sum and average. So system.out.println sum equals to, and then we'll use the sum variable that calculated the summation of the 100 integers, and then I'll print the average as sum divided by 100 because they were the 100 elements. So let me just write system.out.println, and then in double quotes I'll write sum equals to, and then using plus I will print the value of the variable sum. Okay, and then I'll have to print the average. Let me copy paste this thing, system.out.println. Okay, and then average equals to the value of the sum divided by the number of elements, that is 100. So sum divided by 100. Okay, and then bracket close. And now I will close the run over here. So let me just see is everything all right or not. Okay, so we have to just close the runs brackets. We will also close the thread 7's bracket, and then we'll start the public class p7. So public class p7, then we will write void main inside this, and then we'll assign the threads, or we'll make new threads. That is, we'll make 10 threads for calculating the sum and average of 1000 numbers. So throws interrupted exception, public static void main string args throws interrupted exception. Okay, I and E should be capital, and then I will just write one of them and will copy paste and then just change the number. So let me just write thread t7 because it was the name of the class that we made earlier. So thread 7 and then p1, then new thread 7, and we'll give parameters the name as ABCD, and then we'll give the numbers as 100, 200, 300, like that. So let me just write the first thing. So thread 7, and we'll give the name as A. I could have given anything, but let us just write this for convenience. So bracket close semicolon, and then I'll write p1 dot t7's join method, so that the current thread would wait for a while, so until the current running would complete its execution. So let me just write p1 dot, the object of previous one was t7, so let us just write p1 dot t7 dot join. So let me write it down, t7 dot join, and then we will copy paste this thing for 10 times because we have to make 10 threads. Each would be having the 100 numbers, and then because of this run and all, it would give me the sum and average of those 100 numbers. So let me just write it down 10 times. Okay, I have copy pasted it. So let us change the p1 to p2, p3, p4, p5, p6, p7, p8, p9 and p10, and then a b c d e f g, and then 100, 200, 300, 400, like that. So let us change it. Here would be C, and then 200 over here. Here it would be P4, so, and then D, and then 300. Now p4.t7.join, then p5, and then e, and then 400. Now we have to write p5.t7.join. Now we have to write p6, and then new thread's name as f, and then 500 is the number. And over here p6.t7.join. Over here we have to write p7, new thread g, and we have to write 600, and then we will write p7.t7.join. Okay, over here I will write p8, then I will name it as h, give the number as 700, and then we'll have the join method as p8.t7.join. We just have to write the p9 and p10 now. So let us do this quickly. P9, over here it is I, and then over here it is 800, and then afterwards it would have to call the join method, and then p9.t7.join, and the last thread, the 10th thread, p10, name as j, and then we'll start from the 900, and then over here we will write p10.t7.join. Okay, now let us close the brackets now, and then we will check for errors and we'll run this program. So let us see what happens. Okay, here it is. Okay, all the brackets are closed. Let me just check it out. Okay, this looks good. It may be containing errors, but we will correct it. So java c p7.java, error of semicolon. So where was it? It was after the java.util. So I just forgot to write the dot and then star over here. So we'll make the changes, Ctrl S, and then let us try to run this. So cannot find symbol, and then thread 7. So let me just rewrite the thread 7 as thread only. Okay, that would be enough for correcting this. So let us change from the above part. Okay, over here I have to write thread in place of thread 7. So let me just remove this from the above too. Let us try to run this now. It is giving me one error, cannot find symbol, thread 7. So over here also I will change the name to thread. So over here also, now let us run this. Okay, no errors. These are the class that was created when we ran this. That is p7.class and thread7.class. So let us go ahead. It is saying exception in thread main. So let us go to main now. It says index 100 out of bounds for length 100. So let me just change the length as 1000. Now it should not give me that error. Once again it's giving me the same error. So let me just save this and run it again. Okay, let us save it again. Maybe it was not saved. So everything looks good now. Modulo 100, so that 100 integers only are stored. Okay, I have pressed the Ctrl S once again. Let me check the whole program. Seems to be correct. Now let us compile this. So now let us run this. So Java C p7.java, it says error at thread. So let me just make it capital over here. Okay, now this should be working. Okay, now Control S. Okay, let us check it out. So Java C p7.java. So it says return type is required over here and invalid method declaration. And then it says return type required. So let us just rewrite the thread 7 as thread. And then another error is error cannot find symbol T7. So let us just make it as T. So let us start making changes. I have written thread 7 thread T in place of it. Okay, now it's giving me an error at P1, P2, P3, P4, P5, P6, P7, P8, P9 and P10. So let us make some changes. Okay, this looks good. Let me just write thread in place of thread 7, and then we'll write T in place of T7. So we have to rewrite it in the whole program. So let us just do that quickly. So thread 7, and then okay, over here we have to make changes. We have to write thread 7 as thread and T7 as T. So let us do it quickly. Okay, thread P4, thread P5, P6, thread P9 and thread P10. Now what I have to do is I have to write T7 as T only. So let us make that changes. So T over here in place of T7, over here too. So P3.T, P4.T, P5.T, P6.T, P7.T, P8.T, P9.T and P10.T. Now there should not be an error. Let us compile this now. Okay, first of all I will press Ctrl S, saving this, and then Java C p7.java. Okay, so no errors. Let us now run this program. Java and then p7. So let me just make this in full screen so that you would get the clear view, and then I will press enter. Java and p7. So here it is. Here is the output of the question of calculate the sum and average of 1000 integers using 10 threads, and each thread would be having sum and average of 100 ones. So here is the program, and if you want to like click a screenshot or copy paste from here, you can. And these are the programs that we ran and are now error free. Okay, now let us go ahead and click the screenshots of all the program that we did. So p1.java, here it is, the get reference, and then p2.java. Okay, let me just scroll down. So like this, then after p2, public static void main. Now let us go to the p3. Okay, so till catch over here, and after catch in class p3 there is public static void main till try and catch. Okay, now let us go ahead. p4.java. Okay, I'm going down. Try, then catch. We made the consumer thread over here. Then we started it, and then join method. We created linked list, then the producer, then while public void consumer, and then close. Let us go ahead for p5.java of reverse order printing of 100 to 1. So this is a small program. You can click photo now. So let us go ahead. That is p6.java to print the particular string n times. So p6 extends thread, then try and catch. Then we wrote public static void main, and then we pass the string like, share and subscribe, then number of times it should be printed, and started it. And then p7.java thread that implements runnable, random, and then for loop. Then we wrote in public void run sum and average, and then we made 10 threads and used join method. So now you are completely aware of multi-threading techniques that can be used. Also like the video and subscribe the channel. Also share it with your friends who wants to know about multi-threading. So thank you.